Hey gang, Mark here from Murphy&Dickey. I have with me Carrie from Entech Design, here to talk about sludge blanket level detection on a continuous basis. Carrie, we've seen this technology before. What makes yours different?
Well, Mark, I hear it all the time. I get out to plants and they say, well, you know, we've tried some underwater ultrasound, but we've never seen it really work. The thing that's really unique about Entech Design is we really focus on this one technology. We've been in business for over 20 years and we've really got a product that we're willing to show you will work in your application before you ever have to purchase anything.
How does the sensor work?
What we have is it's underwater ultrasound. So what we have is smart sensors that go down, send ultrasounds down through the water column, detect changes in density. So based off the process, we may see two interfaces, maybe a lighter fluff blanket, but then we can also see a denser sludge down below, and we can typically track to either interface that you're interested in, depending on how well defined they are.
What applications in my wastewater plant where do I put something like this?
We do a lot of both water and wastewater applications, but pretty much any type of settling applications. We do a lot of primary clarifiers, secondary or final clarifiers. We also do some gravity thickeners. On the water side, we do a lot of sedimentation basins, any type of applications that have a settling process where solids are settling to the bottom, we can typically do. We do some power applications as well as food processing applications as well.
You know, you mentioned clarifiers and waste treatment. I typically use a sludge judge. Why would I deviate from that?
If you're using a sludge judge, you're basically just getting a snapshot of exactly what that process is at that specific time. What we offer is 24-hour continuous monitoring. It allows you to really see if you're going to have an upset in your process. It allows you better control your process, and again, you're getting 24-hour monitoring, so you get to see what your process does over a 24-hour period compared to just seeing snapshots.
You know, things can settle at different rates. How do I handle those fluff layers?
Again, what we have is a piece of equipment that's very sensitive. So typically, if there's a defined interface between the supernatant and the fluff layer, we will see that interface, as well as the denser interface between the fluff layer and the denser sludge down below. And typically, we can set it up to track to either one of those interfaces, depending on how well defined they are.
You know, my clarifiers have skimmer arms. How do you handle that? The last thing I need is to have my sensor pulled down and lose everything.
What we have there is we have something we call a Multiplex Assembly. It's a pretty simple device, but very effective. It's a piece of metal pipe that the screws into the sensor, but it's got a guided guide bar that's welded onto that piece of pipe with a piece of flexible tube above that. What that allows it to do is, as a skimmer arm or a chain and flight mechanism comes by, it allows it to lift the sensor up out of the water, and then it falls back down in and continues to read after it has passed. Typically, we can get by with just our standard sensor for those type of applications. The motion of the sensor coming up out of the water every 20-30 minutes is enough to keep any air bubbles from forming on the surface of the sensor. If it's an application where the sensor is down in the water continuously, we also offer a wiper sensor that will keep the air bubbles from forming on that surface.
You know, do I need, I got multiple applications at every plant that we'd have to address. Do I need one controller for each sensor?
No, Mark, with our equipment, the one controller can actually handle up to 16 sensors. You can set it up in either a wireless network or a hardwired network. Basically what you have is a power supply that's powering each sensor, and then you can have a radio inside the power supply and inside the controller and communicate all 16 sensors wirelessly back to that one controller.
Now you mentioned wireless. Every single one?
Every single one.
In addition, what kind of maintenance do I need to do on this probe?
You know, the maintenance is really simple. Basically, we recommend our customers get out and maybe inspect them in the summertime a little bit more, maybe every month and a half. They can get some algae built up on them, but we like them to get out there, inspect them, clean them off. Pretty simple to clean off. You can either spray them with a hose or you can wipe them down with a soft type brush or rag.
How do you handle startup on this? Do I need to get my guys out here to program everything?
Well, that's what's really unique about our equipment, Mark. We actually have a cell modem that we can put inside of our controller. That cell modem allows us to access all 16 points within that network. So we can go in and set up all the parameters for our customers, and the great thing about it is we can really dial it in for their specific process. Having that ability to see what kind of echo profile we're getting allows us to customize the settings for their specific application.
So your application people can look at this sensor on a demand basis at your facility at any time?
That is correct.
Does Entech make anything else?
You know, Mark, this is our sole focus. We do, again, some industrial applications, but our whole business is underwater ultrasound. So we've been in business for over 20 years, and again, this is what we really focus on. We really do have some unique technologies that really we're willing to demonstrate during a demo and show customers that our equipment will work.
Thank you very much.
Prove it for yourself. Call for a field test. All you need is a power outlet and a tank to monitor. Setups usually take around 90 minutes. For more information on Entech or other water quality instrumentation, please give us a call. We'll be glad to help.